Okay, let's start going over the stock. This is a mining company I've seen, so it does look really interesting technical analysis wise. I do think we can see some upside in the upcoming time, and I am gonna explain in this analysis why. Of course, first, when we start our analysis, especially with stocks, I am gonna start at our monthly time frame. Monthly time frame, I do not want to look at everything that has happened previously here, and that is because this was from the crash in 2008. This doesn't give me much price information except a really big expansion and a sweep of liquidity, so price is reset for me for this right now. This will tell me enough about the charts instead of looking about what happened all the way over here with that liquidity and stuff. We have to keep our priorities straight. The funny thing is, it's never a coincidence. This is such a big supply, and why? This is what brought you up to new highs, but failed doing so again. So when you flip it, it becomes resistance. That is your supply zone. This push brought you towards this whole move down. So when you come back in here, you can expect rejection. And that is also what we've tapped here and got that rejection from. But if we can continue to look at the monthly here, let's start by drawing in the structure. In really big lines, it's like this. Create a higher high and we can now expect a higher low for another higher high. Looks bullish, right? Let's continue on the more internal part here. This is what brought you all the way. This pullback here is what brought you all the way towards new lows. That's what we gained. We tested back and we gained from there. So to be really strong here, this is what you would have to hold. And I think we've held it. Even though we have opened and closed a candle above it, or below this low, we never did below this wick right here. This is actually a power of 3 made on the bottom because of this candle construction, as you can see. This song is crazy that I'm listening, it's so bad. Man, oh man. There we go, something different. Thank you, sir. So keep trading above $55 and I am expecting upside on Rio. And this local part is where it gets really interesting. And also why I am making a video on this right now, because is it really that interesting? For me, it absolutely is. A big move is literally about to happen, and we can tell that on the lower time frame. So let's get into that in a bit. But first, we have identified our structure still pointing up, even though after this part, I still think we've held this low because of what happened here on the local time frame, and that is a power of 3. And also we are in a range. When we're trending up, we want to draw our range from high to low. So this is actually our range, where we have our high, our low, and we have our first deviation at the low, signaling that possible market makers could be filling up orders here. So what we have to do now in this whole range is identify. We either have to go below this low one more time, and we would have a reason to, because there's actually a little market structure pullback that has not been tested back here. So we either create these 3 taps, below the low once more, take it out, get a massive and aggressive reaction back inside the range, and we can continue higher. Remember, we're building a lot of trend liquidity in this range, and we're taking liquidity from the lows. We are gonna do so until we have taken enough on the lows, so then we can move towards the highs again. It's the same trick over and over again. So either to tap below it, which would make sense with this point of interest, or touch extreme demand or take out extreme liquidity, and we actually have taken out extreme liquidity. This was your extreme demand. This brought you all the way up. We never tested it back. We just built liquidity above it. Then we had this trend liquidity, this shoot down, taking bunch of liquidity. Then this aggressive test while continuing moving up. So I'm expecting nothing less right now from Rio. I want to look for upsides. I think there's a lot of potential for upside. I think this is a great bottom to hold, so we do not even have to go here. So locally, I just want to look for upside. So from the weekly, let's go to the 3-day, see if there's anything new going on. What I do not like about this chart is the trend liquidity that we're building up. Okay, even though we have this higher time frame model and we can trade towards all of this liquidity on the highs if the market lets us, we still have a struggle point to gain. This is what brought you to new lows, so you'll never get that rotation towards all of this liquidity if we cannot break this high. Brought you to new lows, so order flow is still bearish until proven otherwise, even though we have such a good model at the bottom here. That's where the local picture comes into part. Making a higher low here is already strong from us. That price is ready to hold and keep moving up is really strong. But I think there will be one more sweep before everything happens. We are trending up. So we want to draw it from high to low. We got the high, broke back inside the range, and we're actually testing extreme supply right now. So bottom we have discussed on the bottom here. We also have that on the lower time frame on the highs. We are taking liquidity on the highs until we have done enough so to trade towards all of this liquidity on the lows. So what I am expecting is actually a correction towards the $55 mark. And from there we can start to accumulate again and continue up. This would be my most favorable trading direction. Would be my most favorable trading plan. So that's something I really want to take a look at. Locally, I'm not that interested in longs because the local price action just looks still bearish, right? So we want to wait for something like this to trade towards all of these highs. And when we do so, it's an absolutely amazing bang. It's literally 70%, and that's realistic because we're using technical analysis. We're looking at price actions. We're looking where big players are stepping in and where can they release their orders again. That's what we're looking at. So this was Rio, just expecting higher from here, but we have to do a few things at this local part. If we do not do those few things at the local part, we'll never get that rotation up. Scenario number 1, sketched in. Scenario number 2 right now is to scalp towards this range low here. So get a break of structure internally, test back and continue towards the liquidity on the lows. That would be a scenario. And even if we fail here, we could also come back below this low and then give us that move. Definitely valid. And for the rest, I time frame like I do not want to look for shorts. I only want to look for shorts above here because it's still pointing up. We want to start trading up, so we have to stay patient for the move up. Okay, this was Rio done, and all of the scenarios have been talked about on Rio.